only, yeah, like toilet paper is our go-to.
I love getting my hair cut, especially when there's a scalp massage involved.
But she would say, your body is a temple and you need to take care of it.
We have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, where he just ate garbage. How long was that? A year?
Do this. I can't do this without Cassie and the kids enabling me to do this.
I find myself encouraging myself, so I'm like, no, you can do this. Don't give up.
We got lots to say.
I love my husband so much and my son. I had a baby. Her name is Isla.
I want to see the baby. I've definitely had multiple drinks on multiple episodes.
Loosen up.
It's a podcast. We're here to have fun, so enjoy yourself.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of We Made It Podcast. Today we have the lovely Dallas, owner of the Sweet Pea Shop here in Port Hope. Hi, Dallas. Am I frozen? I'm going to remind everybody, we are still hosting a giveaway. It is our 100th episode giveaway, and we're going to announce it on our 105th episode coming up. So keep an eye out for that. Follow all of the, I will say, to-dos. Check off all the boxes to enter our contest. You can get more info on that on Instagram. So head on over, have a look. WeMadeIt.podcast. You can get that there. So yeah, we have Dallas on today. Hello, Dallas. We're so happy to have you. Well, I know I am. Colin's just meeting you. Yes. Oh my gosh, where to even begin? So I was just saying, Dallas owns the Sweet Pea Shop. That's a consignment store for children's items here in Port Hope. So I feel like she's kind of a big deal around here. And I genuinely, Dallas, you're so awesome. So this is a treat for me to get to chat with you for a little while here. Yeah. So I guess where we could start is where you came up with the idea for Sweet Pea Shop. And then, I mean, you're so much more than a business owner. You're a mom, you're a nurse, I believe, too. Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit about the origin story of Dallas as well. So could you tell us a little bit about you?
So I have been in Port Hope. Well, I've been in the area pretty much my whole life, but in Port Hope since the end of '99, so basically 2000. We lived in one house for my mom lived in the house for about 24 years before she moved in with us, and we're just kind of close to downtown. Yeah. My husband and I have had a house since 2017. And yeah, I just really love Port Hope so much. I've always wanted to be a business owner. Yeah. I originally went to out of high school for advertising, and which was kind of weird because I've kind of been like, my mom's had a lot of health issues, so I've kind of been a nurse since I was 11, 12 years old. So it was just such a weird, like, when you're 17, you don't know what you want to do. Advertising came up. Sure, it sounds great.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So eventually got on the path of being a nurse, and I absolutely love it, but still have always wanted to be a business owner. Yeah. And then I had my daughter, and I just realized, like, buying secondhand clothes in this area is so tricky. Everybody knows that, marketplace is, people ghost you. You have to drive here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. And like at the time, my daughter, Maisie, she did not want to be in the car. She had no interest in it. So me driving like everywhere to buy clothes that, you just buy it in a bag. You don't even see what it is.
Mm-hmm. You're just taking a guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So it's just one of those things where it was like, you know what, there's got to be something better. I want something easier. And so I reached out to like a bigger franchise. Yep. And they said, like, no, your area is too small, but we'll offer you Peterborough.
Oh,
I want
that's far.
Peterborough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted something in this region. Like, I wanted local to Northumberland. I wanted to be part of the community that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
So I just kind of set out and did my own thing, and that's where the Sweet Pea Shop came into to play. Like, it was just something that I thought of with Maisie, and then just really put pen to paper when I had my son Harrison. So
Yeah.
Dope name.
yeah.
I got a friend, he's got a son named Harrison as well.
Yeah, I'd never really heard many kids with the name Harrison. Now it's kind of popping up. So yeah. Oh, I love it. It suits him.
Gaining traction. It does. Both of your kids' names suit them.
Yeah, there's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so
what did that look like for on your end? As far as, looking for a physical location, and then like connecting with the local community, because I know that you were doing it's consignment based, so
yeah.
connecting with people, how has that worked for you?
So at the start, what I did was I actually just like did a lot of bulk buying from Marketplace from all
Okay.
around.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure like how well it would catch on at first to be able to get inventory to at least open the doors with things on the racks.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I did that, but like as soon as I started putting the word out, I had so many people reach out to me that I
Right.
was like, my racks were stacked when I opened.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I frequently see you reminding people, like, we're not accepting donations right now. I'm like, she's full up. Yeah, she's got to sell some things first.
Super
Would
filled.
would stacked rack be an inappropriate title for the episode?
Stack
No?
racks. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry.
think so. Yeah.
I'm here to ruin your experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So you
so once I put the word out, it was super easy to get people to bring in their stuff. Which was awesome. Amazing.
So it was just.
Was it scary getting started? Was it like did it feel like you're taking a leap?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Scary, not really scary, more so just like I think just worried.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's like the nervous whatever, but I in my mind I think of starting a business or people taking that step, and I just wonder what's going through their minds, because it's such a risky prospect trying to start your own business, right?
Well, and it was very risky because I did an 18-month maternity leave with my daughter. I went back to work for 7 months, 18-month maternity leave again, and then started a business. So I guess that part was financially scary.
Right. Yeah. You're like, this has to work a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I will say, like, I heard from of you originally from your neighbor. Oh no, I'm cutting out. I originally heard of you from your neighbor Haley. And she was the one who was like, my friend's starting this up, and it was in like a mommy baby workout class, and everybody was like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, everyone was so excited for all the same reasons you just mentioned, right? Not having to, like, being able to go to one place and source out your kids' goods. And how do you feel? Like, obviously it's working. Like, I don't say everybody knows, but if you say the Sweet Pea Shop to a parent, generally speaking, they know. I feel like it is successful. It continues to be successful. Like, what kind of work do you have to put in on a regular basis to support your business?
It's a lot. It takes up a lot of like brain power, and just like it's a huge mental thing.
Load. Yeah.
Especially at the start, like I was there all day, came home, put the kids to bed, went back until like sometimes 2 a.m.
Oof.
And
was this to do like inventory and things like that?
To do inventory, to hang things, to tag things, to enter them into the system, to take pictures of the items to make sure that they're online as well. So it's basically like I have 3 full-time jobs within the Sweet Pea Shop. So one, like running the actual store,
yes,
doing the online store, and then doing social media. And social media is a whole other beast. Like,
I hate social media.
We're I feel like making a real effort, and it's a lot. Yeah.
Well, especially because I kind of went like a little, I probably shouldn't have, but now that Instagram has sort of changed the grid view, unfortunately, it drives me nuts because now it doesn't blend. But like, if you looked at my Instagram as a whole, it was a puzzle. Like, it completely blended from one post to the next.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Which stupidly took up a lot of time because I had to make sure that it was all cohesive, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. But now that they've changed the grid format, it of course doesn't look as good. All this like 2 years of just like blending all my Instagram together.
All this work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, it's sad, but I mean, it is what it is, really.
Were you always offering online as well?
Yes, from the very start.
That's a big undertaking.
Yes, very much so.
Has it been worth your time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not good at math, but let's say it was like 10 to 20% of the sales. So like I was always getting an online order. I've sort of taken a step back with social media and the online spaces, because the business takes so much that, my kids are only 6 and 3.5. Like, they need me.
Yeah.
So, the online, I could pump out a lot more clothing than I could if I was taking a picture of it, sometimes taking 2 pictures for front and back or different angles, making sure, like, again, because I'm a little nutty, I put it into Photoshop, remove the background, like, and then, upload it and make sure that the name of the item was for SEO purposes, right? So, like, you can't just say like a Carter's onesie. You need to say like Carter's onesie with dinosaurs. So if someone's like, dinosaur onesie near me, my shop is going to pop up at the top of the feed, right?
Can you just walk people through SEO real quick?
Yeah, so just making sure that I am naming an item based on search engine optimization, so SEO. So when you in Google type like children's clothing near me, because I have those specific words placed on my website is going to pop up in your Google search.
And higher up.
And higher up, yes.
Right,
so
okay.
the better verbiage that's used, the more descriptive terms you use, the better your search, like the better your business is going to come up on Google searches.
And that would be, have you found that that's a way that people are finding you if they haven't heard
Most
you
likely, because like if I go into my back end on Shopify, I can see what people are searching and how they found the website.
That's fantastic analytics to have.
Yeah.
Do you use Google Ads or anything like that as well, or is it purely just sort of word of mouth?
Yeah, I do not. I have paid for a few advertising here and there. Like I put my business on the like at the Port Hope Market, you get a free tote. My business with a QR code was on that.
Nice.
And then just paying for like Facebook or Instagram ads every so often. But for the most part, I don't. Like, I just do free advertising on social media because
it works. It's enough.
Advertising costs a lot. So
yeah, it can, right? It can add up so quickly. Yeah. Question about what you were saying. The 3 jobs. Oh my God. Yes. So you have. They say every child you have is equivalent to 2.5 full-time jobs, I think. So I would say you are currently working like 7 jobs, a minimum.
Well, I also
Does
have
it
two
feel like this?
nursing jobs,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
I'm hot lunch coordinator at the kids'
You
school.
are. Oh my God. I didn't even mention that at the top of the episode. Dallas coordinates the hot lunches at our kids' school. Which, oh my God, thank you for doing that, by the way. That's like, what a job.
Yeah.
I want to ask you more about this, but I feel like I'm so curious about the business part of what you do. Actually accessing like physical clothing racks and shelving and things like this. Is there like an easy way to do that, or is it like you're going to wholesale? Like, how does that all come together?
Yeah, so the places that I ordered from mainly were Uline and Eddie's Hang Up Display.
Okay.
I also use
Reputable.
Bulk Mart for bags because, you got to find the best prices possible.
For sure. Yeah,
so
bottom line.
I did so much research when it came down to like purchasing the racks and what I could get from it. And like if you spend a certain amount of money with Uline, you can get free stuff, which is cool. So like, so I, when you look through the free stuff, I got like a speaker so that I could play music in the store and just little things like that.
Yes.
And
Gosh,
then trying to price match too. So even like with my bags, I told them that I got my bags from Bulk Mart at this price. And they were able to do a little bit of wiggle room and help me so that I could stay their customer, which is great. Like they have amazing customer service with Uline. So I really didn't have any trouble getting supplies.
That's good.
Yeah, the sources that I used were perfect, and everyone was willing to help, and it was great. It was easy.
Good.
The stressful part was making sure that I had everything to put those racks up, and you know what I mean? Like just making sure that I had all the parts to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you operate out of like a brick and mortar type? So it's like, I'm just interested to know how you price things out, especially from a consignment point of view, where it's you're not paying full price for anything. Everything's essentially on sale. Like how do you work the math to make sure you're covering your utilities and your rent and your supplies and then the cost per item? Like that's just my brain is starting to get nauseous thinking about it. I don't know how you go about that.
I used my husband a lot. He's good at math.
Oh,
okay.
I wish my husband was good at math.
Yeah. But like I had spreadsheets and just a whole bunch of things so I originally took courses before I started the business. There's a company called Futurepreneur, which is a Canadian not-for-profit business that helps with funding for young entrepreneurs. And they give mentorship and these resources that they have. Like I took a business plan writing course and a cash flow course. And they just kind of walk you through different steps of how to do that. My prices, I didn't really work in with like overhead costs and whatnot. That was sort of separate because I wanted my prices to be low and affordable because when you're on maternity leave, you make peanuts and you need to be able to afford to clothe your kids. So just like I did my prices based on, we have Walmart and Giant Tiger around. That's it. And
smart. So just based off your competitors.
Like those are the only competitors. And I just kind of based it off their prices and things like just being able to offer more than just those brands, like just George and just, the couple that Giant Tiger has. I just sort of worked it out that way. And then I also thought to myself, like, how much would I pay for that? So like a onesie is $3. All of my onesies and t-shirts are $3 unless you're getting up to the bit bigger kids. But it's like, okay, I would pay $3 for a shirt. Right.
For sure.
Just sort of taking it to that level where it's like, I want to make sure people can afford clothes. But I also need to price it to pay for rent.
Yeah,
and
you got to
all
make your nut, you know.
Yeah.
So is this like a volume thing now? You just know how much every month you need to sell in order to make things work out, kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And is there a point in the month where you start to wonder, like, oh, should I got to start pushing the onesies or something like that? Does that happen? Is this
January and February suck?
Oh, okay. People aren't going out. People aren't shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
But
tough.
And Dallas, you just survived. Sorry, you were. I feel like I cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
You just survived. They repaved the main street where Dallas's shop is, and that was hard on so many businesses.
Yeah. So
I
much
remember
less
you
foot
saying
traffic.
I remember you saying it impacted you as well. Is this kind of how did you stay afloat? Like, was it just something you kind of had to weather the storm a little bit?
Did you hire someone with one of those arrows and they're just
like a
spinning
blow
it,
up
pointing
car?
It wouldn't have helped.
No,
it was difficult. Like, because I'm just kind of on the offshoot of the downtown. It wasn't easy to get around. I mean, it's Port Hope. It's a quick little jaunt around, but still, the inconvenience of it was very hard. It definitely prevented my business from growing like it should have. Like, I should have had better growth in my second year than I saw. I mean, I did see growth, don't get me wrong, but it was definitely very hard. It took a lot on my mental health, and so it's been a hard year, and trying to like wrap my head around, is it going to get better, has been difficult, and it's getting there. But like, again, hopping into January, February after that, because it went from April until mid-November. And then
it was long.
In the spring, they're going to be repaving, like they're going to do that final pave. So who knows how long that will take and what that'll do.
Hopefully quick and easy. Yeah, no more. Everybody's ready to have that done.
Yeah.
You got to go to the Port Hope. Like, I don't know. We've been to Cassie and I and our kids visit Jordan and Jen all the time, and we're down in the community center. I don't know what the events are, but there's always like booths and stuff from local businesses. Just put yourself right beside the beef jerky guy, and you're guaranteed to make some sales, because all the guys go to the beef jerky, so all the girls are going to go look at the clothes, because guys wouldn't even know what to buy their kids. You know what I mean?
I do see dads that come in.
Yeah, good for them. I feel like
we did
I'm sure it's more rare. Yeah.
We went to what's the one in our place called? Once Upon a Child. It's another consignment one. I think this one's a franchise. I'm not sure.
It is. That's the one that I was reaching out to at the beginning of my venture.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah, Dallas is doing great, guys.
Well, and I honestly, I love that you're doing it on your own, and I love that you get to be your own store. Franchising's great, but ultimately you're still now accountable to someone else. Exactly, you know what I mean? And then they're going to be like, they're just going to be taking more off the top, you know, it's just a racket, right? But it was the cutest thing, because they had the fill a bag for $10 kind of a deal, where whatever color tag it was, you could. And Olivia, our 5-year-old, she's 6 in a couple weeks. My God, she was having a field day.
She's like, she was
proper shopping. She's like, throw it in the bag. No, I don't like that one. It was just wow. I was like, where'd you get so old? How'd you get so mature? And my son, who's 7, it's like, I guess I'll take a shirt. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, he was probably so like, I don't know why I need this. Yeah.
But I think I like the idea of the consignment, because no one wants to pay the cost for the clothes that they want when they're going to destroy them, they're going to grow out of them, they're going to lose them, whatever. And now you also get to include your children in the process. You can bring them with you, and you don't have to worry when they see something. Oh, I want that. Okay, well, we can get this. It's $3.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like people of our generation are a lot more conscious of, well, some I should say, are a lot more conscious of the way that the fashion industry is impacting our environment. And
huge.
Fast fashion.
Buying secondhand, especially with clothing is just helping that circular economy, like making sure that things are just going around and not being put into landfills and not using so much water to produce the clothing and then just like pumping it all out and then doing that multiple times, like
over
Shane or, you know, that has all those fast fashion clothing, which is another
sorry,
thing
I was like, I spelt Shane like the guy's name, but I know what you're talking about.
Sheen,
Sheen.
I don't know.
No one knows what it's pronounced.
Yeah.
But it's provocative.
Yeah.
What do you do with your stock? Do you I'm sure that eventually you have to get rid of stuff, or do you just are you able to keep things for a lot longer because of the nature of your business?
Yeah, so when I first started, I had set a contract with all of my consigners that said after 180 days, your item then becomes expired. Do you want it back or do you want me to donate it? So originally that was my plan, but because the way I opened and people were just like pouring in all the clothing and whatnot, the way the seasons worked out and the way the timing of when I opened worked out, I told people like, yeah, I told you 180 days, but would you like me to keep it to the next season? Because your first season stuff wasn't on the racks for very long. So I did keep a bunch of stuff and then put it out the following season. But generally, if it's something that's been sitting around for too long, I either give it back or I donate it. But now, like Jenna, you were mentioning, you wanted to kind of know how the business has evolved. I've actually moved away from consignment and into buy outright. So the items have become property of the Sweet Pea Shop. And at that point, if it doesn't sell and I have to donate it, I'm kind of out, which is unfortunate. But my consignment software was $3,300 a year. And
that's a big price
tag.
A
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
What the fuck does it do?
I hope it does everything.
It did everything. Okay. It had a consigner portal. People could log on, see their items, see which items have sold. It did the math for me. It took their percentage out. It put their percentage into their account. Like you owe Jenna this much money because these items sold at this much. So it was incredible. It did my inventory management. It did everything. But that cost with a small business and a hard year from construction, I couldn't justify doing that because then if I don't have that cost, I can afford to pay out more for people who want to sell to me. So it was just one of those things where it's like, oh man, hindsight's 2020. Like I wish I had done that from the start.
But that's a good learning opportunity, right? Because you wouldn't really want to go the other way.
Yeah.
Because you get into your routine, you get into your systems, and then you're like, do I want to spend $3,300 a year to see if this works for me or not?
Yeah.
True.
But I mean, you live and learn and move on.
I think that's fascinating. And I think it's really important too, because I don't think, obviously, you saw the look on my face. I don't think people realize, what goes into running any kind of a store, let alone a consignment shop. So I think that's really interesting that there's obviously licensed software out there specifically for this kind of
use. And I'm sure there were less expensive ones, but when I tested them out, there was nothing that worked with what I wanted. And I'm pretty picky when it comes to software stuff. Like I wanted to make sure it was easy for people to understand. I wanted to make sure it was easy on on the back end for me to figure out. I'm pretty techie, but it was one of those things where I just wanted the easiest, smoothest thing for people.
When you're working 5 to 7 other jobs, yes, I would want it to be easy too. Yeah. No shame.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to plug in my laptop. It's dying.
It's dying. Okay. We don't want to
when you say raising a kid is like 2.5 jobs, is that per parent? or just for the mom?
I think it's for.
I
don't know.
Depends on how involved your partner is.
Yeah, I think
it's
Cassie.
Just the kid. She's working like 5 jobs.
I think it's the kid is 2.5 full-time jobs. So it's however
that's
household
divvied up. Yeah.
Divvies it up. Yeah.
Honestly, that probably is for all of life, because being a family in a home is a lot of work anyway. Never mind just the kids.
Yeah. It's different than it used to be. I feel like
I'm way more involved than I should be. God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been watching Mad Men, and I'm just like,
I just want to smoke at home, and I was going to say hit women, but that's too far.
Drink your whiskey. Yeah, no. I don't think that's what you want either.
No. It's just all fun. I had a question. Sorry, go ahead, Jenna. You first.
No. I was just saying, like, we've been watching Mad Men, and it's like the stereotypical, like, what we picture families to be like in the 60s. And it's a bit like
it's almost uncomfortable
striking to watch. Yeah, because you're just like, oh dear, like he really expects her to like have a fully cooked 6-course meal for him every night. What? Impossible.
That alone is hard to do. Just cooking like a 3 things on your plate kind of meal.
A course meal is fucking
a course
difficult.
meal. Yeah, one meal.
What's for dessert? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Your imagination. Yeah. Sorry. I feel like you were leading into something.
Who are you talking to?
I think Dallas. You had a question, Colin?
I wanted to know, one of the things you mentioned was about the seasons, and so obviously it made me think that you're rotating inventory. So you've obviously had to build a lot of systems for your business to work, and I'm just wondering what kind of structures you've built internally to make this thing successful, in terms of, maybe scheduling or planning out or, strategizing, whatever that might look like.
And employees too,
or are you kind of just like, as you think of it, you make stuff happen kind of thing?
Kind of, because like I'm always trying to learn how to do things differently and what things are going to work, because I'm so fresh. Like I need to figure out what's going to work. I do rotate. Like I luckily have a wonderfully dry basement, and I bought a bunch of totes that I love being organized. So like they're all labeled with gender and size and season. So like I've got a tote for Christmas and I've got a tote for Halloween, and
yes.
So then once I like go through the racks, I judge obviously shorts. All shorts are coming off the rack. I take them off by size, by gender, and stack them flat, laid flat in the totes, and then just store them on the shelves downstairs.
Wow.
So I do that. The timing is kind of different. Like I think I was a little late putting things out my previous year, so I'm trying to jump ahead this year by Monday night, I'm going to go in after work and get some spring stuff started, and then I'll just slowly incorporate it through the week, because I've kind of, like I said, I've stopped sort of letting it take over all my time. So I'll do it, like I'll just roll it out when I get to it. And my mom works for me, so she helps me out in the shop.
Yeah. Thanks, I'm the boss now, Mom.
I see your mom in the shop, and she's just so sweet and like so supportive. Like, what a wonderful employee you have. Yeah,
it's been great, because like having her there means that I can go work my nursing job. I can take a mental break from owning a business.
Yes,
and being there all the time, and and then I can go to my nursing job, which I absolutely love. So it's been good that way. And then she just helps me stay organized, because I'll enter a bunch of stuff into the system. I get her to tag it and hang it, or I get her to pull things off the rack and we put it in a tote, and vice versa. So we kind of just roll with it basically on what the plan is. So it's always changing for me too.
I see just flexibility in that, which I really like. I don't like the idea, again, if you were franchised, they'd be telling you by this date, you need to have this done and blah, 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 blah. And it kind of just gets in the way a bit. Is there a plan for this to become the job that you have? Or will you continue to keep just doing this sort of on the side? I feel like your life is probably pretty busy right now, and that you don't have a whole lot of time for yourself or your family.
Yeah. My on the down low, my plan is actually to sell the business.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's actually a really smart idea.
You know what? People do it all the time, right? Like,
yeah, you build it and then you sell it and you move on. Like, I love that. That's genius.
And I just, like, I sit there and I think to myself, I love the Sweet Pea Shop. I love it so much. But I love being a mother more, especially at this time of my kids' lives, at the ages that they are. Yes. And I want to be the kind of mom who's like not sitting there playing with the kids, thinking about the Sweet Pea Shop. Like, you know, it's just one of those things where even, and not sleeping because of it too. It's been a lot better. Like I leave my laptop at the shop.
Still
I don't
tough
bring it home
though,
with me anymore. Because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I've got to work, and then
I've got to go do this.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So just little things like that, where it's like, you know, I had kids to be a mom. I have my whole later life when they're older to set out and be a business owner again, if that's what I choose to do. But like, I have to also sit back and be like, I am so flippin' proud of what I've created, what I've built. From nothing,
right out of thin air.
The only negative comment that I receive from people, oh, you weren't open when I came by. That's the only negative thing I've heard.
That's perfect. And that's incredible. You should be so proud of yourself. I hope you are.
I really am. Like it's hard for me to toot my own horn, but I'm like, yeah, you know what?
We need to toot our own horns a bit more, I think. You know what I mean? We were talking about this on our last episode. Our friend Sarah, she does medical aesthetics, and she started her own business as well. And it was the same conversation. Like, we didn't grow up with the idea that we could just be proud of ourselves and that's good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think this? I don't know if this is a fair question or not, because I'm coming at parenting from a different point of view. I had kids expressly to do chores for me, and for nothing else. So, oh
man,
you talked about, you built a business. Now you're kind of in that mindset of, you know, I really now know 100% that being a mom is where my priority is. Do you think having the business helped you see that? Do you think it's made you want to dive in deeper into that aspect of your life? Would, if you hadn't started the Sweet Pea Shop, do you think you'd be as keen to be the kind of mother you plan to be? Or I don't know how to phrase the question, but I think you understand what I'm asking.
That one's kind of hard. I think it's definitely helped, because being a nurse, where I'm at, I go to work, I leave my work at work. I do not bring it home with me. So I guess, if I had just gone back to nursing, I would have just gone and done it. But like, this has definitely put it into perspective that I miss that. I miss leaving work at work. I always used to say that to my husband, like, oh, it kind of sucks. You got to bring your work home with you.
What does he do? Can I ask?
Say that again.
Or are you talking about yourself to him?
No, like, he would have to bring his work home with him. And I'm like, oh, that sucks for you. And now that I'm a business owner, I'm like, shoot, now I'm bringing my work home with me. I don't want that. I mean, not that I didn't want that. Like, I knew going into this,
it would happen.
This was part of
it. Yeah. What I didn't know was the amount of mental capacity that it was going to take away from what I really want to be, and that's my kid's mother. So because when I'm at work, like, clearly you can tell, you know, I have so many jobs. I love being busy. I love working. You know, before kids, I was a workaholic. My excuse for thing was like, oh, sorry, I got to work. But now I'm just like, you know what? Screw that. Like, I should be there for my kids. That's why I had them.
I will say, I've seen you. I see you. I get the chance to see you as a mom, and you're wonderful. You're a wonderful parent. So, from my perspective, if you're like feeling like it's taking away in any way whatsoever, like I don't see that. But obviously, we all live in our own heads, right? And we all have like this lens in which we see the world. And so, if you feel like it is taking away, then that's a mental load piece as well, right? Where you feel like I can't be the parent I feel I could be for them. So, yeah, I definitely see how doing everything that you're doing could impact that for sure. So, yeah, I'm glad that you've been taking steps to kind of find that balance a little bit. It's hard. Sorry.
Jenny,
did I cut out again?
We were just being polite. Everyone else will have heard it. So,
yes.
But Dallas, my wife, she works long-term care, and she's currently working every other weekend, and she understands what you're talking about because, you know, we last summer we paid for the kids to do summer camp, and it was a lot of money, and we basically we take our our paycheck and we say the way she does the math in her head is she's like, if we pay for this, I'm only taking home $100 every paycheck. And now she's like adding up all the stresses of the work, the absolute weapons grade morons that she works for. And she's trying to figure out if it's worth her time. And she's having the same conversation. She misses her time with the kids. She feels like she's missing out on that. And there's been a few occasions where the kids have said, I feel like mommy's working a lot. Where's mommy? And I'm in the Army, and usually it's the other way around, right? But my job is so low key right now. It's ridiculous. I almost don't even have to go. It's wild. So they're like, they've got enough of me. But I really appreciate that you're sharing that, because I'm hoping when she hears this, it'll help her try to go through the decision-making process that she has to go through in terms of her near future, what she wants to do with her job and where she wants to go.
I mean, there's so many of those like Instagram reels that are just like, you only have like 10 summers and whatever, however many it is before your kids just want to hang out with their friends and don't want to be with you. And it's like, okay, cool. Then I'll go and be a workaholic again then.
Yeah. Right? I'll fill the void somehow.
Yeah. So, you figure it out financially, you figure it out, and then you just be happy where you are at the time of your life, right?
I think it's such an important thing, because I feel like our generation has really been just pumped this message about this plan, this path that you have to do in order to be a successful adult. Go to school, have a family, get a good job, work till you're dead. And then you look back at previous generations and that's all they did, and everyone seems fucking happy. And now you're here doing it and you're like, oh my God, this is absolute garbage. I am so bored. I don't want to hang out with my kids because I don't have the mental capacity to pretend that I care about the stupid fucking game we're playing. Olivia, I love her to pieces. This gets me every day. I don't care how tired I am. You know the slap game where you're like one hand and you kind of got to do this? She fucking holds my hand down and then smacks it with the other hand. And then when I win and I pull it out, she's, no, I was just high-fiving myself. Like little shit like that, where it's like in that moment, I'm like, this is so fucking funny to me. I absolutely love that this is happening. And I try to I hold on to that so much.
Yeah.
Because when you're in those moments where you're like, oh my God, I want to put an Olivia shaped hole in the wall right now. You're driving me so insane. But it's like, I really appreciate what you're saying in that. Yeah, they're only kids for so long. You only have these moments for so long.
They only have one childhood. Yeah.
Not even hold on to it, but just like bask in it and enjoy it.
Yeah, and Jen, I don't know if you've seen, it's a little different for you, Colin, but it's like we only have one motherhood. If you think of it that way. Right?
Yeah. I wanted to remind folks that of a reel, I think, that you did, Dallas, where you were like wrapping up the gift my kids are asking for the most. And it's you're wrapping yourself up. Mommy, mama.
Yeah.
I was like,
right.
1,000%. I laughed so much.
That's what Daddy's asking for too. Just putting that out
there.
There you go.
Well, my sister-in-law asked my in-laws, like, what was your favorite part of like where we were as kids or whatever. And they're like, oh, adults, when we could hang out and chat. And I got to thinking to myself, I'm like, yes, that's great. But like, you need to raise your kids and be with your kids in order for them to want to be with you when they're older.
To come back.
Like, happy, create a happy life for them. And then they'll be with you forever. So I know we totally got off topic of the Sweet Pea Shop. I'm very sorry about that.
No. I mean, this is the way the podcast goes. We just want to have good conversation, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
We say the same thing. We try to make memories. So anytime we have a decision, like, I don't know, is this the best thing for the kids? If it's staying up late or junk food or whatever, it's like, you know what? Fuck it.
F it.
It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. Everything that we're basing our parenting decisions off now are what we've seen parenting when we were growing up. And I'm like, you know what? You were batting 500 at best. So I'm just going to swing in the other direction and see what happens. But ultimately, it's just about enjoying the time you're spending with your kids.
Yeah.
While you have it. Those things you hear, one of the ones I heard was, you have 75% of your time is gone by the time they're 12. And then 90% by the time they're 18. So you kind of, in your mind, you're picturing it as like a linear, I'll call it decay of time with them, but it's actually an exponential decrease. It's more and more, faster and faster that you're spending less time with them. And it's kind of scary that way because I picked up William, he's 7. I picked him up from a friend's house today, and the resulting conversation with his friend's mom was now William is on Kids Messenger. So it's basically Facebook Messenger for kids. Like
I'm
Anson.
Nervous. What does this mean?
But my 7-year-old is now on. It's like no different than my group chat with my buddies from work.
Okay.
And he's messaging me on the same app. It's for kids, and it's through the parents app almost kind of thing. It seems legit. It seems safe. It seems fine.
Yeah.
But the takeaway from this is my 7-year-old. When I was fucking 7, and I didn't even know what the VCR worked. And now this guy's sending me friggin' emojis and stickers. It's
like,
such a weird.
All the emojis, yeah.
Such a weird time to be a parent. Like, I don't understand.
It is weird. Yeah, there is this very strange, like, polarizing thing. As you know, Dallas, I drive the school bus, so I see like I hear a lot of what they do outside of school, because a lot of them are having that conversation, like, what are you going to do tonight when you go home, or what'd you do on the weekend, or whatever. And there's a lot of talk of like Fortnite with kids who I think should not be playing video games that young. And just like different movies that they're allowed to watch and things like this. And I just like, I don't want to enable the parents, so to speak, but how can they not? Like, it's everywhere. How do you know what to censor, what not to censor? There's movies that are rated PG that have content that like maybe isn't really PG, but you look at it, you're like, oh, it's rated, it's safe, it's good, and then you watch it, you're like, oh, this is actually kind of not so good. Anyway, like,
did your parents watch movies first before you could watch them?
No.
Did they like pre-screen them?
No.
Man, we got that shit sometimes. Can I watch? Let me watch it first.
Oh,
you know, like I saw this really funny meme.
Your dad's a detective.
It was
in his heart.
how strict were your parents? And the guy's comment underneath was, "I'm sorry, I can't have fun today. I had fun yesterday."
Oh no.
Yeah, Dad, if you're listening, that's not exactly how I felt. It was funny.
Fun quota's been met for the week, so
yeah.
I wish I could. Just kind of speaking to the social media thing, I listened to this podcast, like Huberman podcast.
Andrew Huberman, yeah, I love that guy.
With Jonathan Haidt, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Anyway, one of the ones was talking about like social media and kids and how it's just like, just kind of, it's just really not good the way the social media and so like screens alone are taking over kids. So kind of scary. But
we'll link that into our show notes. Jonathan Haidt, Haidt. There's actually we got an email from our school. They got some PhD guy doing a
like a talk to parents and students about kids and technology. Really, that's what it amounts to. But I was like, yeah, this is like it seems to be same kind of background. Like it's a academic, empirical stuff to help parents understand what the world looks like to their children.
It's just so scary too, like the amount of access that kids have, even to just like sexual things, right? Like,
oh no,
things that
if you think of YouTube,
yeah,
like if you allow them unfiltered YouTube access, they could land on all kinds of stuff.
Well, even like I've heard in the States too, that there are a lot of subliminal things that come on for boys watching all these video game YouTubes. And they get sucked into these things because there's, you know, like
it's no different for the girls. Like but it's just from like a different perspective though. They're getting hit harder now with the messages about what you should look like and how you should behave and how you should talk and stuff. Like everything that, and we try really hard to limit how much YouTube they watch, but even if you get certain apps like YouTube Kids or KidsTube or whatever, a lot of it's the same stuff. It's just ported over kind of thing. But all these challenges, all this kind of stuff, people going around spending you got 25 minutes to spend $5,000 and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what my kid's coming up to me now? Do you know what their ideas are? I got an idea, Dad. Let's go to the store and spend all your fucking money in 7 minutes. How about you
$2,500?
It's like, wild.
That would twist their concept of what you can and cannot buy. Like, to buy, I feel like start small with like groceries or something so that they have an understanding of like your basic needs and what they cost.
And this kind of like wraps back into, if I'm more available for my children, I can maybe create a stronger bond and be helpful, and maybe they'll be more open with me and I can help guide them in a safer direction when it comes to certain things, right? Like, just those things just cross my mind, the anxiety of motherhood. And I'm like, how can I be better? How can I make it so that my kids aren't like scared in this world, or, you know, anxiety ridden,
have the tools to navigate.
Like, I can tell you that that's a father thing too. Like I think often about I think about all the times that I was going through shit and I just felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not like my parents wouldn't have helped or wouldn't have wanted me to talk to them. But I just look now at my children and go, okay, how do I make it so that they don't feel that way? And I have no fucking idea. And that terrifies me because I the only thing I want for them is for them to never hurt.
Yeah.
And I know immediately that that's a failing prospect because it's going to happen.
Impossible. Yeah.
So you already feel like you're a terrible parent because you can't make their life perfect for them.
Yeah. So, like, to both of your point, like, giving them the skills to navigate all of these weird things that will come up in their life that are, I don't want to say inevitable, but whether they find it in person or online, like, I feel like that's...
Well, not even the skills too, but just like the proper knowledge, and not just like whatever
internet
shit
knowledge.
You find online.
Right? Yes. Oh my gosh.
I did research.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
That's so true, because they're gonna come out with this skewed. Like, I often wonder if I'm being like too pedantic with my kids, because they'll ask me questions and I'll give them the straight answer every time. But I think sometimes I go too far with it. But I don't want them thinking that what they hear is factual.
Yeah.
And not to the sense like, you know, I'm not correcting everything they say, but sometimes I want them to know. I guess I'm more trying to give them the understanding that they've heard something, they've talked to me about it, and I've told them that it's wrong or it's incorrect or it's kind of not true. so that they start to realize that I really just want them to question things.
Even
them
to
question.
have an open mind, right?
Yes.
And to not be so like, oh, so-and-so said this, so that's the way we have to go. Like, well, no, because that's someone else's perspective. Let's learn about it properly, have the proper knowledge, and then, like, know what we're talking about.
Yeah, be curious, right?
I told my son today, 2 things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
It's like
what was
they
his
got this.
answer?
Well, he kind of. I don't. I was. He was wrong about something, and he was making a very absolute statement. They were in the bath. It was something stupid.
Sure.
Olivia splashed him with water or whatever, and he goes, I said, "Hey man, calm down. It was an accident." He goes, "Yeah, but she splashed me with water." I said, "Yeah, it was an accident. She didn't mean to. She splashed you with water. These 2 things can be true at the same time. She splashed you. She didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have. I won't say he's a victim. He's a little too young to be that persecuted,
labeled like
but
that.
He's going down a dark road, you know. I gotta pull him back from that. But see, I mean, I find I find most people struggle with that concept. That 2 things can be true at the same time.
Dr. Becky from Good Inside actually talks about that a lot. 2 things are true.
Tell us more about Becky.
She's well, like, sort of more a gentle approach to kids, and like learning how they're viewing things, and how you can do like different aspects instead of just like a strict, like, no, this is not what you're supposed to do. Be like, okay, well, you kind of want to think the kids are good. They don't mean harm. They're not malicious. They're good inside, and you just need to figure out how. Like, I don't know about that.
He's like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Fucking no.
Your
I'm
kid,
sorry, I swear a lot. I apologize.
Calling your kids
I should have mentioned that at the beginning.
No, I feel like I see so, like, William and Olivia are so highly intelligent. They're just clever, I think, is, and all, I don't want to say ultimately, but like also the age that your kids are at. They want what they want. Like, they're kind of selfish. They're getting into that, like, how can I serve me stage? So yeah, I see how that comes across as like.
If I can find it, if I can find it, I'll try to send it to you guys. And I was sharing this with Cassie. This was probably like months ago, but it was talking about that concept. It was I very much came from the point of view of, okay, you're not listening. You're choosing to ignore me. You whatever. But they're up into like their mid-teens almost. It's just varying strata of individuation. So they hear what you say, but their minds, and it's selfish, but it's not selfish because that would imply like an ego approach.
Intentional.
Yeah, it's them figuring out how they fit into the world. So they go, okay, you told me to this. How does that apply to me? Well, okay, I want this. You want that. This is what we'll do. And it's kind of just varying degrees of that. And it becomes more abstract as they get older and they understand themselves and the world a bit better. But each time they're misinterpreting something or not listening or serving their own interests first, it represents 2 things. Number one, they're sort of understanding how to play the game, how to game the system. And they're also demonstrating your lack of communication. They're showing you that, hey, if you want me to do something specifically, tell me fucking specific. It's something like that. I'll try to find it, but it really just
they're a reflection of us.
It elaborates on what you were saying, is that the intelligent kids are going to figure this out, and it's not because they're mean. It's not because they're selfish or malicious. They're just, it's a tough thing to grow up. It's a tough thing to mature. It's 36 years old, and I'm still struggling daily. A 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, they're not having a good time.
Our Colin, our kids have the same teacher, and he said to me the other day, he goes, someone asked me if you could go back to being, I think this is sort of what he said, if you could go back and be in your 20s, would you choose to do that, or would you stay the age you are with the knowledge that you had now? And I was like, oh, I would not go back to my early 20s. Like, just like the way that you change as a person and who you try to be, like, I find it easier to be the person that I want to be now that I'm this old, where if I had thought, like, oh, I want to be this person in my 20s, I'd be like, just whatever, who cares? I'm just going to have fun. So,
yeah.
You're so concerned about what you're trying to be, what you think other people expect of you, or how you think they want you to look. I agree with you 100%. I would love for my kids to grow up understanding that they have to please no one. No one has to agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
They can do whatever the fuck they want and be unapologetic about it. Like, that for me would mean I was a successful parent. Because I agree with you 100%. I think it's a reflection of, I think that's what gracefully aging looks like. Accepting who you are, just falling in to who Dallas is, or who Colin is, or who Jen is, and just, because we all have flaws, we all have good parts and bad parts, but we try so hard to hide the bad parts of ourselves, and instead of letting the good parts of ourselves shine, we try to replace those with what we think other people want those good parts to be, and it just creates this huge psychic mess. And I would love to have my kids not deal with that. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Just kind of like speaking on to people pleasing and bringing it to the Sweet Pea Shop too. Another way that I've evolved as a business owner is not being a people pleaser like I was at the start. And I guess that's the same, like being a people pleaser in your 20s compared to being in your mid 30s. Just like people would bring, I had set rules on how, like, I want to accept your items, but people would still just garbage bag, shoved in clothes, like just not folded properly, or just inside out, buttons open. And it's like,
you had like such respectful rules. Like, you were like, bring it to me washed. If you have stained stuff, like push it to the side or try and wash it, like do your best and fold it and deliver it to me nicely. Like, and that's, so to me, that was a very minor thing to ask of the people.
Well, if you go into a store, are you going to buy the wrinkly shirt or the nice shirt? Like the nice, not,
exactly.
Looks like it's been folded, but it's not wrinkly, right? So I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll do up the buttons, and the amount of time that I've spent doing buttons,
you're just doing laundry at home and at work.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? No, like, now my rules are, again, still freshly laundered, but you lay them flat, and all buttons, zippers, and snaps must be done, or I won't accept it. Like, and it's not, I'm not going to be like, oh, sorry, I can't take this because of this. And be like, no, if you want to do the work, then I'll do the work. Like, we got to work together. In order for your things to sell, it needs to look good.
It's so interesting. And that's like the ethos of what a consignment store is. It's like a mutual relationship.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But some people don't see it that way. Some people see it as sort of like a dumping ground to get rid of their stuff. So
it's like, when I take shit to Value Village, I'll just kick it out of the door while I'm driving by. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're going to overprice it anyway.
Yeah, but do that at Value Village, stuff is not here.
Yeah. This is really different, and I like that approach, because I think people too, like, they just need to be reminded politely, and because I don't imagine that you're being an asshole about it.
Oh,
but
definitely not.
People will take every opportunity to make their lives easier at the expense of people around them. So it's I'm grateful that you're able to create appropriate boundaries and encourage and encourage people to respect them, which I think is a tough thing in this world.
Yeah, someone came in not too long ago, and I was like, not accepting, but I'll look through your stuff, because again, I'm trying to be a people pleaser, and it's like, I'm not accepting. Like, Dallas, you should have just said no. But then I thought, no, okay, you know what? Like, I've never seen this person before. I want them to come back. Let's just have a conversation. But I noticed buttons weren't done, things weren't flat. So I was like, these are my rules on how I accept things. If you want to sit here with the counter and do up the buttons and do the snaps, then I'll look through it, like, while you're here. So I thought, good for you. You put a little bit of a boundary. Like, that's what you need to do. Like, I should have said, no, I'm not accepting the items because I already had enough of the stock of the size that they had. But instead I thought, okay, I'll be less of a people pleaser by just like toning it down, getting them to do the work while they're here. Yes. And then, you know, just, but yeah, like trying to, one thing I will like try to say to people who are starting a business is like, just keep your boundaries from the start. Like, otherwise people will just keep taking advantage and they won't change. So
would the beginning Dallas have allowed someone to stay at the counter and sort it out without it? Because I'm thinking like boundaries are really important and boundaries are good, but I mean, we can look at everything from geopolitics right down to how you talk to your children. There's no absolutes. There's never any black and white. Everything's a give and take. It's all about working with other people. Right. And so I think it's perfectly reasonable that you, rather than just say no, I think you're still respecting your boundaries.
Yeah.
By saying, hey, these are the rules. I can't accept these. If you're willing to do this, then I'd love to talk with you. But what you're saying too is like, I don't want to take the time to have to explain this to them. And that's fair too. But I think it's okay to, I'll say, bend the rules. You're not bending the rules, but I don't think saying
you were educating, no, I think, that person.
Yeah, and like you said too, it's in the best interest of both of you for you to have given that answer,
right?
Rather than say just outright no, because maybe they'd be turned off and not. And now they're bad mouthing Sweet Pea. That fucking
and then
bitch.
They're on the
She wouldn't take my
Moms
onesies.
Group. Yeah, bitching about people. Yeah.
Sorry, I made a fucking very. I just assumed it was a woman. I had no place to do that.
I have a couple male consigners.
Yeah. There you go. I think, Dallas, you said she, so maybe
I did. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I'm not a bigot.
No, but
thank
it's true.
God.
Like I don't want someone to turn away and be like, I'm not going back there because she said no. Like, nobody likes to be told no. But I did technically say no, but I put a solution on the table.
That's perfect, right? Like, let's work together, and that's great. Otherwise,
so I'm curious. Did they button the buttons at the counter? Did they decide they would not? Oh, I cut out.
Sorry, what's that, Jenna?
No, I said, did they decide that they would button those buttons up at the counter?
Yeah, they did, actually. They did.
Perfect.
And I told them ahead of time, too. I just said, look, like, I'm not really accepting these sizes, but I'll go through and I'll pick out some of your best stuff and we'll go from there. So
I think it's awesome, too, because it shows the good faith of all parties involved, right? Like, you recognize a problem space where there's too much waste, not enough secondhand options, all this kind of stuff. And most people, the easier thing for them to do is to just take it to Value Village and donate it all, or try their hand at Facebook Marketplace, like one lot at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it says a lot that they're willing to go there and see what they can do to help that ecosystem thrive, where people can get what they need. We can support each other. Everyone can win, kind of thing. I think that's awesome. It's a win-win-win. Which, according to Michael Scott, is the optimal solution.
Yes, the win-win-win. Yes. I had picked out some items to send to my friend who had a baby in December, and I always write her. She loves reading letters, so I wrote her a long letter with the gift, and I just said, "P.S. The items are from the Sweet Pea Shop, and it's it goes back to families in the community. Really, that money is helping you feed your kids. It's helping other people who are selling their items through you feed their kids. It's we all know how sort of complex the economy is right now, and so anyways, she messaged me and she was like, I am so grateful for these. She's like, I'm so happy to hear that it supported that. So anyways, thank you for inspiring me to to shop at your store. Yeah.
Yeah, like you think about the memories that you can remember with your kids in those outfits, and like some other family is going to have those memories too. So
yeah,
this is the one where you exploded and shit out your back. Tony was holding you.
We're not putting that on the
Yeah. Oh, you do have like a, I don't know if you still have it, but you did have like a stained bin where it was like, and all the profits go to, remind me where?
So the last time I was able to donate $318 to the Northumberland Child Development Center here in Port Hope.
That's
so
incredible.
That helps funding families for diapers and like not courses, but things like that for families. And it was really awesome. So
I was going to ask.
You were truly,
right on the heels of this beautiful thing that you just said. And I'm sure I know the answer now. When these lots come in, are you able to pick and choose and do a little self shopping first?
Yeah.
Get the best items for yourself, or
for my kids.
How's that work?
I try really hard not to. There have been a few.
But you're like, ooh, this would look nice on here.
Yeah. You know what? I don't worry about Maisie because my mom takes Maisie downtown. They go when the shop is closed. She picks out all her clothes and they go shopping and do their thing.
That's so cute.
But for Harrison,
a private shopper, my God, she's spoiled.
Yeah. For Harrison,
hey, that's a business idea, no? Private shopping.
I know.
Children private shopper, child.
I actually do that for Kenny's grandmother. Our grand, she'll message me and be like, "I need something for this person," and she's like, "I'm going to spend this much money," and I'm like, "All right, let's do it." I just filled a bag for her granddaughter who's having a baby, and it's actually kind of fun because I was able to make sets and put a bunch of good things in there.
That's actually a really interesting idea too, because take me for example. I would want my children, I mean, they dress themselves now and it's an absolute riot. But I would want them to wear nice clothes and look decent. But I also have no patience or willingness to go and figure that out.
Yeah.
So to charge like to charge like an additional 15-20% to be like, I'll put this together for you.
I actually, I did that. I posted a few times about mystery bags. $25 I think was like a medium bag, $50 was a big bag, and I would just fill the bag up to $25, like whatever you wanted to spend, and like I would just do it for you. And of course I'm not going to put in like garbage stuff, but no one actually took to it. I was surprised because that's kind of like, your personal shopper. You're just like, you know what, just fill me a bag of $25 and I'll come pick it up.
Yes,
yeah, but I think you could say mystery bag. Oh, go ahead.
I think the word mystery bag, it might be in the wording, right? Because I think if you said like, I will personally shop for you, that would be different.
Yeah, if you said personal shopping, if that was an option, and it's like, and then here's what you do, like you put a form to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna try to reconnect thing. You put a form to it, and then you make them fill it out, and then it's like an experience, and they're like, "Oh my God, someone's really doing this for me."
I had to actually remove my forms from the website because, oh my Lord, the amount of spam you get is ridiculous.
Oh my God, just bots filling them out, eh?
Oh,
wild.
Or even just like, hey, I saw your website. Your SEO could be better. It's like, my SEO is great. Thank you very much. Like, leave me alone.
I'm fine.
That's so funny. That's so awesome. We got one guy emailed us trying to help us get our YouTube going, and we're both just terrified to engage him. Yeah.
All the time.
We're just terrified to engage with them because we don't know what it looks like. After having a conversation, we're like, yeah, let's see what this is like, and then we're just gonna get a bill for like 10,000 whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was one more thing I was gonna ask you. Oh, it's gone. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's gone. Okay, we'll ask it in the comments later, maybe. Well, I think we'll leave that at that for this week. Oh my gosh, Dallas, this has been truly a treat. I love chatting with you. I feel like I take advantage whenever we see each other at field trips. P.S. Are you at the field trip tomorrow?
No, Maisie's SK, not grade 1.
Oh, that's right. The SKs are going.
Way to make it awkward, Jenna.
No.
Well, it's okay.
No, I'm just sad now.
Yeah, I know. But Jenna and I are apparently going to be each other's lives. Maisie's going to marry Anson, so
yeah, she talks about it a lot. The girls at school are like, there's one girl who's in their class, who's on the bus, and she's like, Maisie's in love with Anson, and Anson's like, don't tell my mom. Anyways, it's very cute.
Oh, that's so funny.
Don't talk to her about
so
it.
Cute.
Yeah,
so
he's
cute.
like protecting his personal life already. It makes me laugh. Yeah,
but not Isla's, which was funny.
Yeah. Hey, she's so like, oh my gosh, you know when
it's precious.
You're pregnant and you're just like, who is my kid gonna be? She's just like way beyond any expectation that I could have ever had. Like, it's just amazing. So yeah, she's a treat.
I can promise you next time we're in Port Hope, we're going to swing by and check out the shop.
Yeah.
Olivia will have a field day. Especially, it's so much different when you know you're supporting someone you've met before, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But for our listeners, where could they find you? Where can they? I don't know what the shipping radius is or anything like that.
Yeah.
But,
on the Sweetpeashop.ca, and we do shipping all of Canada. Local delivery for $5, so within a 20-kilometer radius. Mm-hmm. On Instagram at Thesweetpea_shop. On Facebook, that's a longer name. But yeah, you can find everything on Thesweetpeashop.ca. Everything's listed there. Business
you heard
hours,
it here, folks, and personal shopper coming soon.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Dallas. It was wonderful to meet you and such a great conversation. I had a blast. I hope you did too.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We're grateful, yeah. One last reminder for our listeners, enter our contest, go on Instagram, get all the details there. Yes, Dallas, I'm thanking you again. This has been so lovely. And we'll talk to everyone next time. Toodles!